With this session update, I'm Shannon Lurkey. Members of the Senate debated and voted on Senate File 1, a bill that would allow businesses to fully operate without capacity limitations as long as the businesses develop a COVID-19 safety plan and make good faith efforts to maintain the health and safety of workers and patrons. Here are some highlights.
Since we're a year out from the emergency orders, we now have vaccines that are out, we have cases that are down, we have hospitalizations that are down, and it's time to start unwinding these emergency orders that have left one person in charge of too many crucial decisions. And so this bill allows to free businesses from the reach of executive orders by requiring several components. It first insists that business owners have a COVID-19 safety plan with their site-specific best practices for how they need to meet health and wellness, social distancing, cleaning, sanitation, protection. And second, it tells the business owners to maintain these safe and healthy workplace environments for their business operations and prohibits boards and licensing agencies for imposing penalties under violations of the governor's emergency authority. The bill will also I'll be offering an amendment here in a minute that will be requiring, if there will be future executive orders that will partially or fully close businesses under a Chapter 12 global health pandemic, it will require a majority vote of the legislature in order to enact those orders and a 14-day notice before taking effect.
There's a pretty good chance that we all remember what we talked about last Thursday, Mr. President. We talked about Senate File 2, a bill that in many ways was similar to the bill that we discussed today. That bill, as we all know, limited the governor's executive powers when it came to closing of schools. But it replaced those powers with the ability to make those decisions locally by other accountable elected officials, school boards. Now, I voted in favor of that bill last week, Mr. President. And when I got back to St. Cloud in greater Minnesota, I heard a lot of thanks and a lot of appreciation. But I also heard from Lois. Lois is mad at me, Mr. President. Lois said that I had betrayed my party. And I explained to Lois what I would explain now, which is I don't vote party, I vote my conscience, my community, and quality of argument. And the bill that we heard last week was adequately reasoned. This bill is not. That bill was focused. It was, as we were repeatedly reminded, finely tuned. This bill is not. That bill relied on the accountability of local control. This bill puts the health of working people in Minnesota up to chance.
Senate File Number 1 suggests that businesses need to develop a COVID-19 safety plan. And it sets out the kinds of best practices that should be in that kind of a safety plan. And we may very well have small businesses that will do that. I know our colleague, Senator Putnam, said it so well. There are so many business people in our state who cherish their employees and do right by their employees. And they will have a safety plan, and they will do their best with what they have. But as he also said, and I don't know how many people in this chamber have worked those low-wage, minimum-wage jobs. We've heard a lot of representation today on behalf of small businesses, and that's great. I'm glad. But most Minnesotans don't own a business. Most Minnesotans work at a business. Most of them work lower-paying jobs. And not all of them are buddy-buddy with their boss as a family friend who's going to take care of them and look out for their health. Most of them work low-paying jobs where they don't even know their boss. They may never see them. Decisions are made above their head. This bill says, you know what? Don't worry, your boss has it. Your health, don't worry about it. Your boss is going to take care of that plan for you. I don't trust that, and I bet most Minnesotan workers don't trust that either. They're looking to their government officials in an emergency to step in and protect them. That is our job. majority could step up and provide those protections for Minnesotans. There is nothing stopping this body from doing that. Today, on this bill, we provided many ideas to improve their legislation, many ideas. How about we do this? How about we protect workers in this way? How about we protect workers in that way? How about we expand the workers' compensation presumption for COVID-19? No, no, no. That doesn't really have to do with what we're doing here. Yeah, it doesn't. It's clear that it doesn't. Protecting workers has nothing to do with what is happening here today.
I think Senate File 1, and I thank Senator Mathews for carrying this bill, and I'm proud to be a co-author on it, because this is not about reopening businesses. This is about amending Chapter 12 to make sure that our governor, in the execution of a peacetime emergency, does not overreact and does not put people's livelihoods at stake. We've talked about the safety and the concern about the employees of these businesses, and I'll tell you, members, what they really want to do is get back to work, because what we've done so far is not save their jobs, we've eliminated their jobs.
All of my employees want to work, and all my vendors want to work. So in the event industry, you have, mainly weddings, you have wedding planners, you have wedding dresses that are sold, you have florists, you have decorators, you have entertainment, you have caterers, you have bar staff, etc. They just want to get back to work, members. And I know this is close to home to me, but I think the underlying issue of this bill is what we're supposed to do here in the Senate, and that's the checks and balances of Chapter 12. I think it needs to be modified. I think we need to look at Chapter 12. But members, I encourage you to vote yes or a green vote on this, and I really feel for the businesses that have been closed. I don't think we talk about that enough, but there's hundreds of businesses across the whole state that have been shut down during this last year, and here we're bickering about silly wearing 2 masks or not.
The issue of closing businesses or businesses being opened is not a partisan issue. It's a livelihood issue for many people around the state of Minnesota, and that's why we need a strong voice here out of the Minnesota Senate to say we will go back and trust our workers, we'll trust our business owners, we'll trust that you will get strong plans in place to keep you safe, and that you can get out ahead of that and do it faster than a governor or a state agency can do it.
There being 38 ayes and 29 nays, the bill passes and it's titled agreed to.
To continue following these issues and more, watch legislative coverage Monday through Friday on the PBS Minnesota channel or visit our website, www.senate.mn/media.